be back in 30 seconds.
Your talk, your voice, your show. This is Fox News Talk. Listen, learn, and be a part of the conversation at 877-367-2526.
I was driving my car and I said I had to call because I started to laugh and agree with you wholeheartedly.
With the health insurance issue, we just keep going back to drinking out of the same poisoned well.
This is a classic bait and switch situation.
Speak your mind. Call in live. This is your show on right now. This is Fox News Talk.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fox News Talk. I am Kat Timpf, and I have sitting with me Rob O'Neill. Rob O'Neill, say hello.
Good evening.
He is a Fox News contributor who also killed Osama bin Laden, which is probably, a little bit, that's probably how most people know you, right? The guy that killed
that word's
bin Laden.
kind of getting out there, yes. And I've been working at Fox here for 2 years now, and it's great to be part of that family as well. And great to be here this evening on Fox Talk Radio. Thanks a lot for inviting me. I appreciate it.
And everyone's invited if you want to call in, 877-367-2526. I'm going to be... there's been a lot of military in the news,
yes,
okay? So I haven't talked about it for the previous 2 hours. I wanted to save most of it to talk about it with you. There's been so much of this about the phone call and was it good? I want to talk about what happened. And I know Joe Dunford addressed this a bit today. Can we play that clip 13, please?
I think first and foremost in this particular case, we owe the families as much information as we can find out about what happened. And we owe the American people an explanation of what their men and women were doing at this particular time. The only thing I'm asking for today is a bit of patience to make sure that what we provide to you, when we provide it, is factual.
What do you think about that?
Well, there is going to be a good investigation, as there should be whenever some American soldiers, coalition forces, die in areas where we're not necessarily anywhere. I mean, who knows where the war is nowadays anyway, because we saw and are seeing what is in Afghanistan, what happened in Iraq, the development of ISIS, the Islamic State, terrorists going back into Europe, trying to get here. And there's Al-Qaeda, ISIS. Yes, they're different groups, but they're all based on the same ideology of Wahhabism. So this is North Africa is not uncommon to have special operators there, but this group these were special operators from, I want to say, a third group, Special Forces, an Operational Detachment Alpha, which Green Berets is what people call them. And they go places a lot of the times to build bridges, become force multipliers, help with capabilities to fight their own battles. In this case, they're training the Nigerian army. This started in 2013. It's called Operation Juniper Shield. And under the Obama administration, it was signed off again. They have what's called a status of forces agreement with Niger. And so that's a lot of the legal stuff with how they get operated and what if a law is broken or whatever, how it is held up or in a court or whatever, and where they can stay, things like that. So these guys were just out on a mission to talk to village elders. They do this a lot. They'll drive places, and in a case like this where they're saying they were not in armored vehicles. That's common when you're training, because they had 30 Nigerian soldiers there, and they had 12 Green Berets with them, 12 Army soldiers, and they were going there as sort of. This is where it gets kind of shady.
Right. So how does something like this happen?
Well, the problem here is a lot of one of the really good reasons to have American troops on the ground is to get, or assets on the ground, is to get human intelligence, what they call human. And you talk to people, and it's everything from talking people and giving them gifts, paying them off, bribing, whatever, to get information from the locals on what is happening with the terrorists, with the insurgents in the area, because it's very difficult for terrorists to work without the locals knowing where they are. They went in here, apparently, again, I wasn't there And,
Right.
and it is an investigation, but they're saying it was a single source, which is always bad. Not always bad. It's usually bad.
Explain that a little bit.
Well, if you get a source telling you there's information, say, for example, on a target, on a high-value target, you want to corroborate that with another source. Sources that do not know each other. Get one guy telling you something, try to find something else, maybe signal intelligence, some of the classified stuff they can use, or more human intelligence sources. You want to get a few of those, just so, like I said, so it corroborates, so you know it's legit. If you get a single source like this telling you to go to a village where the governor of a nearby town said that this village is definitely they're supportive of ISIS, they're supportive of the Islamic State type stuff. So it's going to start to look, I think, from what I've read, from what I've been told from people that I know, is that it's going to look like something that they kind of were lured in there by that village, because it was a pretty complex ambush that was set up. And there's even footage coming out right now of people from the village moving motorcycles and vehicles so they can start them somewhere else to drive to the ambush sites. And they got hit once. They got out and they fought it out. And again, I don't know a lot of the specifics here. They will get a really good investigation. But they got out, tried to fight out, realized they're in a bad spot, and they were sort of forced to get in the vehicles and drive away, and then went to another spot. So they're hit on two sides now into what is a classic ambush, and it's called a kill zone, a kill box. And now you're on the X. Now the biggest problem is not fighting back, is trying to get out of there. Right. So something like that happened, and that's where I think a lot of the confusion came with Sergeant LaDavid Johnson, how they didn't find his body for 48 hours. Again, from sources on the ground, were saying that he just fought valiantly. He was a true warrior. He was picking up other people's guns and just duking it out. And so you can imagine that the chaos of an ambush. It's loud, it's scary. When bullets are flying, you don't know where they're coming from, and they hit next to you. It's really scary. When explosions go off, RPGs. I
would imagine it would be scary. It's something that I am too much of a wuss to ever be involved in.
It's very, very scary. I've been in situations pretty bad that, well, they had RPGs, mortars, small arms, and then what we call technicals, which are pretty much very lightly armored, like machine guns on trucks. So this was set up really, really bad, and you can imagine the chaos. So they didn't have air support, which is always great to have, especially if you're getting attacked, to have coalition forces in the air that can do what's called close air support. So drop bombs, shoot guns, gun runs, things like that. But we don't have the assets necessarily in that area. We are sharing a base with French pilots, and French aircraft showed up. And now not only do you have a problem with the language, what communication, what frequencies are you using? And then when you look down and there's 2 or 3 ambush sites with guys in the middle in trucks, they don't know who's where. They don't know who's who, and you can't just start dropping bombs. So this is a completely chaotic thing, and it sounds like it lasted a couple days. And I think you're going to find out it was all started because of that sympathetic village. And I did hear that the mayor of the town, I'm forgetting the name of the thing, he was arrested. Like not the mayor. The mayor had the village elder arrested because they know something was rotten in that whole thing.
And the single source thing that you explained, is that something that people should have known about? Who normally is in charge of that? That's more of the murky stuff that's going to come out. Is they're saying they went in there to talk to the village, but while they were there was intelligence that a high value individual was nearby, and they may have switched it from a reconnaissance / hand-holding mission into a high-value hit, like an interdiction of some sort. That's where you need to get authorization. So whoever the ground force commander was, the person that's actually on the ground commanding the entire force, needs to get, like, from the battle space owner, the commanding officer of the base. It needs to probably go up to the level, something like this, maybe up to AFRICOM itself. Who knows? But there is a chain of command for sure about doing that. I don't know if that happened. I don't know what's going on there. And then also you do need to do what's called a risk assessment. And the easiest way to say that was we would always say, is the juice worth the squeeze? It's dangerous. Is it worth it? Maybe. So they're going to find out if all that happened. And these are Green Berets. These are solid dudes. Absolutely.
If they skip steps, it was because they thought it was worth it, and they're not going to put their guys in danger. And it even shows they didn't call for air support, I think, for the first hour of the gunfight, which they thought they could handle it. Just that when that second group hit them, is what I'm being told. Mm-hmm. So it's a really, the world's a dangerous place, and Africa is a very, very dangerous place. Like, even when people ask me if I'm ever going to go back to the pyramids, I tell them there's a pyramid in Vegas called the Luxor. I'll go there, because I don't need to go to some parts of. I guess that's not a good one to say just based on what happened in Vegas. The world's a dangerous place, I guess, is what I'm getting at. But because of the Arab Spring, when Libya lost Gaddafi, there's stuff going on in Egypt. It started in Liberia, and then we start bombing people with really no plan, and then all of a sudden there's this vacuum. And it's a rise of like what we call the Levant. You remember the difference between ISIS and ISIL? They would say two different. One was Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, the Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant. And the Levant's like borderless. That's why when you have the attack in Benghazi, you're in Benghazi, Libya, but they don't have a border. This is still the same. These are Al-Qaeda. You're fighting them in Baghdad too.
Yeah.
And so it's very murky. And like the French, we're helping them in one of their missions this is all in Mali, which is West Africa. You've got Al-Qaeda, it's called in the Islamic Maghreb, which is they're trying to get an Islamic State in Algeria. They've been doing that for years. And all of these guys, Boko Haram, AQIL, there's so many of them. But
that's the thing, though. There's so many of them.
But they're all based on this one version of radicalized Wahhabism, which is Sunni Islam out of Saudi Arabia. That's where it starts, and that's where and basically Wahhabism is. They believe that Muhammad wanted all of us to live like he did in 700. So they're trying to get it back to that, which is why you.
And I have no interest in that.
No, I don't. I'm digging my iPhone.
Yeah.
I like to, flight.
I like to press a button on my phone
Right.
and I get food. I use Postmates to deliver everything to my apartment at least 4 times a day.
Oh, seamless and
seamless.
And now Uber's delivering food.
Uber,
Brilliant.
I have no interest in their vision for my life.
Yeah, right.
Especially because as a woman, I wouldn't be like a full human. I love being a full human.
That's what gets bad too, is people don't see it. You'll see a lot of people protesting Israel and Free Palestine and all this stuff that are feminist, but they don't realize, like Saudi Arabia is a modern country with a lot of money. I think women might. They're working on it, but you can't drive. That woman got arrested for wearing a skirt.
Yeah,
that's not exactly progressive as far as
I did that the other day freely. It
was crazy.
It was crazy.
It's almost like someone let me do it.
It was almost like it's better here.
They can't leave the house without a male escort from your family, not a male escort like a fireman, the guy dressed as a fireman.
I'd have to stay in Detroit forever because I don't have any
right,
family here.
But
and a cat doesn't count.
No, cat,
not a male cat.
No, that wasn't working. Not over there. But this is what they want, and it's they get taught this from a very, very young age, so they know it's true. And that's what they're going for, and it's extremely religious, and they want to take over the world, and that's what they're trying to do. So all of these guys, even if they're pledging allegiance to ISIS or Al Qaeda, whomever, it's kind of the same version. They want the same thing, which is the death of infidels, which are you and I are, or apostates, which are they believe the wrong stuff or they left the religion. So it's a violent version. You might have noticed it's pretty violent.
It's pretty violent, and as I noticed, as you're struggling to think of all the different sects and all the different places that they're popping up, is this a winnable situation?
Yes, but it's also a losable situation.
Yes,
because one of the things that they'll say too, and I'm not trying to generalize, they were taught that they can win by outbreeding, and you'll notice that a lot of in Islamic communities there's 3 wives, and so imagine each wife having a kid, they're 3 times the kids.
Terrible. I really just hate the sound of this life more and more.
Yeah, and there's some bad stuff, and it's winnable because there are a lot more mainstream good Muslims that don't like this,
right.
And they're tired of their religion being bashed like this, but because of these crazy fanatics. But the problem is they start speaking out against the crazy fanatics, then now they're apostates and their families targeted for murder. So it's bad. It's bad. It's winnable, but it's not going to be won with bombs and bullets alone. Education and we'll really need help out of Saudi Arabia if they want to keep the House of Saud, which is the ruling family. But Al Qaeda hates them too. They need to stop preaching the hate on the pulpit. If someone's preaching hate, because if you start teaching kids at a very young age that the Jews are devils and America's the great Satan and we must kill them with a knife, like an example I like to give is it's kind of depressing, but when there was the Islamic State in Syria, they had what was called the Cubs of the Caliphate. So they're training these young kids, and they have videos. I mean, don't Google it. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
But 5-year-old kids cutting off heads, human heads. And if a 5-year-old kid does that, in 10 years, he's probably not going to be better.
No, he's not going to be more normal. Absolutely not.
So that's kind of it's winnable, yes, but we need. It's the whole thing with the flat earthers. It's not 700. It's 2017.
Yeah.
Kind of a lot's gone on since.
Kind of a lot, and we got a lot more to talk about. We're going to break real quick. I'm here with Rob O'Neill, and you can join in and be with us too. 877-367-2526. I'm Kat Timpf, Fox News Talk.
Listen, learn, and be a part of the conversation at 877-367-2526. This is Fox News Talk. More next.
Washington, D.C., After Hours, because politics and the news never stop. The conversation is just getting started, and that's why Shannon Bream is now live every weeknight from the Capitol to the White House. What happens in this town never stops impacting you. That's why she's digging into every agenda, issue, and event that could shake up the country. Get the facts, get the expert analysis, and get it all live. Fox News at Night with Shannon Bream, premiering Monday, October 30th on the Fox News Channel.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-582-7585.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-611-5153. That's 800-611-5153. 800-611-5153.
Wildfires burn millions of acres across the country each year. And each year, wildland firefighters battle to contain them. But they can't do it alone. For some communities, it's not a question of if wildfires strike, but when. And a single ember can travel more than 1 mile. As it twists and turns and floats through the air, that single ember can find its way to where you live and can ignite and destroy your home or your community. That single ember can be just as dangerous as the wildfire itself. You can't control where the ember will land, but you can control what happens when it does. You can take action now to prepare your home and your community for wildfire. Get fire adapted. Learn what you can do now to reduce wildfire damage later at fireadapted.org. Prepare, protect, prevail. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council. Learn more at fireadapted.org.
Fox on Faith with Lauren Green.
Do you need religion to be a good person? More than half of Americans say no. A recent Pew survey found that 56% of us believe it's possible to be moral and ethical without religious beliefs. In short, without God. Pastor Stan Mitchell of Grace Point Church in Nashville, Tennessee agrees. He explains, since we're all God's creation, even if we don't acknowledge God, we can still reflect His goodness.
People are created in the image of God. And whatever your theology is concerning a fall or depravity, I think those are only layers on an inherent goodness.
But Pastor Shane Eidelman of Westside Christian Fellowship in California says being good can only be measured against an objective source of ultimate goodness, and that can only be God.
If there's a good, there's an evil. So you have to have God in the equation to properly define good. So it's possible to do good things, but at the same time, you can't divorce what actually is good from God.
For Fox on Faith, Lauren Green, Fox News.
Are you losing your hair? Fight back with Avacor, now with Boost, which gives you visibly thicker hair with the first application.
I'm 20 years old and I've been losing my hair for 3 years. I started using Avacor and my hair stopped falling out. It's working.
Well, I'm 72 years old, and I can tell you honestly, I have a fuller, healthier head of hair now than I did when I was 18 years old. Avacor really works.
Whether you're 20, 72, or any age in between, Avacor works. An Avacor Boost will improve your hair's appearance the same day you receive your order. Call now and find out how you can get 3 months of Avacor free with your order. Call 1-800-727-6004. That's 1-800-727-6004. This is a limited time offer, so call right now. 1-800-727-6004. That's 1-800-727-6004.
everybody. Welcome back to Fox News Talk. I'm here with Rob O'Neill, and you could be here too. You just have to call 877-367-2526. Rob, we were talking a little bit in the break about Senator Lindsey Graham saying he didn't even know that there was troops there. Can we play clip 18 really quick?
I didn't know there was 1,000 troops in Niger. John McCain is right to tell the military, because this is an endless war without boundaries, no limitation on time and geography. You got to tell us more, and he's right to say that.
What do you think? I mean, as a libertarian, I think that it's not just as a Trump thing, but as a general thing, I think that Congress needs to be more involved in these decisions. You may disagree with me.
I don't disagree wholeheartedly. I'm pretty sure John McCain and Senators John McCain and Lindsey Graham are both on the Senate Armed Services Committee. And this, like I was mentioning earlier, is an operation that was signed January 2013 by President Obama to put troops in Niger. There's 800 troops there. And if we're really at a point where two senators on the Senate Armed Services Committee don't know we have troops in Niger, it's a sad state of affairs, because they're either overworked, incompetent, or just not being honest. And I'm not sure where we are now. I mean, Chuck Schumer came out too, and who knows what he's going to say. But he's saying he didn't know it. If this is a major operation against some major players, ISIS-related groups, we know about the Al-Qaeda groups up there, the ISIS stuff, the Boko Haram stuff, all the bad stuff in Africa. They know there's troops in Niger, and now it's more of a, well, something bad happened. And we can wash our hands of it, because I didn't know this. I don't know if they're playing the card where if they say they don't know, maybe they don't get in trouble. Who knows? But this was not an executive order when this happened, and they were both still in. They were all three of those guys were in the Senate. They knew it was there.
So I don't understand this at all, because I heard that clip and I was like, "What?" I mean, I didn't know. I didn't know we had troops there. Right. I'm not familiar with the area.
Well, they were making headlines, and there wasn't a lot of exciting, sexy stuff going on in Niger. You know, like I said before, we're helping train the Nigerian army, with trying to be their assets, assist them with capabilities. We're helping the French, but they're dealing with terrorism in Mali, because there's been terrorist attacks there, all related to the same radicalization. And yeah, we're there. I mean, we're in a lot of places. We have groups over in Djibouti. We have groups working in Yemen. Well, not in and out of Yemen. They kind of pull out of Yemen, but there's stuff going on in Somalia. We have stuff. We have people all over Africa. People all over Europe. We got them in Asia. Navies all over the world. And something like this, especially fighting Islamic terrorists in Africa, which we're very interested in, because that's potentially the next hotbed. It's been a hotbed for a while. Osama bin Laden lived in Sudan, and we've had bombings in embassies there. And there's attacks there a lot. Algeria's always been a problem. So yeah, I would say they knew. I mean, I'm not trying to call them out, whatever, but
you're calling them out.
Well, I'm kind of calling them out. Well, I'm just saying they knew. How did you not know if that's your job?
Yeah, look, I think. I don't know, but the larger point of it is, if we're at war in so many places at the same time, that nobody can even list them off the top of their head.
Well, these aren't in Niger. They're not there for combat operations, and they're investigating it. They are there to support the local troops to fight them when they need to. But again, we are in a place where ambushes like this could start happening, just because they're spreading like that. There's bad stuff going on all over the place. Like Boko Haram is one of the worst, and they don't get very many headlines. The other one's kidnapping all the schoolgirls, and then the girls never come back. And they're doing, they're more brutal than ISIS. If you ever see some of their videos, they're terrible, and they're in Africa.
Well, it's about an ideology, and it's not about any specific area.
No,
which is why
no borders.
It's so difficult, and you can get all excited about a certain sect mostly surrendering or this or that, but it's not just ISIS.
No, there's a lot of bad stuff going on. I mean. Obviously, North Korea, which is making headlines, they're working hand in hand with Iran, so they're sharing nuclear and military technology.
Oh, boy.
We got some enemies out
lots
there.
of good news, guys. All right, call in, join the conversation, 877-367-2526, Fox News Talk.
He wanted to be known for doing his best.
Sure, right.
His best made him Major League Baseball's most valuable player.
Strike two.
He played in 6 World Series and was elected to the Hall of Fame. Although an honest man, he was best at stealing home. But the best quality of Jackie Robinson's life was his character. So here's to you, Mr. Robinson. Thanks for passing it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
This is Fox News Talk.
Headline Rewind.
1980s.
My lungs. I started to cough. Sometimes my parents have to take me to the hospital.
Today, 1 out of 13 children suffer from some form of asthma, accounting for nearly 1/3 of all emergency room visits.
I feel like I'm choking. It's kind of like an elephant is on my chest. A little whistle sound comes out when I breathe.
But while your child may suffer from asthma doesn't have to make your child suffer. There are simple ways you can prevent your child's next attack. To learn more, log on to www.noattacks.org or call your doctor, because even one attack is one too many.
I feel like a fish with no water.
Brought to you by the EPA, the Ad Council, and this station.
Computer security threats such as spam, spyware, viruses, and hackers invade your business every day through email, instant messaging, web browsing, and your company's website. With no software to install and no per-user license fees, Barracuda Network's firewalls are easy to set up and affordable. Do what 50,000 other companies have done. Reclaim your network with a Barracuda Networks firewall. For a free evaluation unit, call Barracuda Networks, 888-ANTI-SPAM, 888-ANTI-SPAM, or go online to barracuda.com.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
A United States Marine and his mom make the Dean's List for making people smile across the country after sharing their family reunion. Nikel Moore was hosting the reunion at her home in Los Angeles when her son, Naeem, unexpectedly showed up and dressed in his uniform. Nikel was so shocked to see her son for the first time in 2 years that she screamed with joy and actually ran away. When she came back, they embraced for a long hug. Her son had been deployed in the Philippines and found out his deployment was going to end earlier than expected. Naeem knew that his mom had been planning a family reunion, so when he realized he could come, he called his dad and coordinated the surprise. She was overjoyed.
I was just so blown away. I pretty much knew that he wasn't coming, and when I saw him walk through the door, it just floored me.
Thank you, Nikel and Naeem, for sharing your story and for making us smile. You both made the Dean's List. Janice Dean, Fox News.
OnStar Emergency, this is Monique.
Help me, please. A car hit me. We're on my side of the road.
Stop and ask yourself, what would you do if this were you?
Are you injured, ma'am?
Yes, badly, from bleeding.
I will be getting the police on the line.
Could you give your exact location?
Sheriff's Department.
Hey, this is Monique calling from OnStar. I have a vehicle crash with airbag deployment off of U.S. Highway 25. She says she's bleeding very badly.
Could you get the help you need in time?
I'm going to call you with the vehicle.
Are you okay?
Oh, please help me.
All right, we got help on the way.
Will you get OnStar before or after you need it?
I will remain on the line with you, okay?
The police officer's here.
The police officer's there. Is the ambulance there?
Yes.
We're here whenever you need us.
Choose a vehicle that could help save your life. Choose a vehicle with OnStar. To learn more, visit OnStar.com. OnStar by GM.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fox News Talk. I'm Kat Timpf, and I'm here with Rob O'Neill, who shot bin Laden dead. He's dead. In case you haven't heard, he's dead. And you can join the conversation, 877-367-2526. That's 877-367-2526. If you have anything you want to add or ask, if not me, then like the guy who shot bin Laden, I'm having lots of fun asking you all kinds of questions, as always. And I know I said earlier, talking about the call is a little boring to me when you compare it to the magnitude of the situation, but since it's still in the news, we still have people, using it politically in one way or another. When you talk about Gold Star families, what do you think is the appropriate response? Some people say a certain call, some people say no calls at all. What do you think?
Some people say no calls at all. They would prefer a handwritten letter that, you can edit it, look at what you're saying, make sure it's right, and they have it forever to look back, because I've never lost a family member, certainly not a spouse in combat, but I've lost really, really good friends. And it's a very difficult time. And I've seen spouses, and a lot of them are just angry. And they obviously they want answers. What were they doing there? Why did this happen? I know a lot of Gold Star mothers and fathers angry still about, we lost a lot of guys in August of 2011 on a helicopter that got shot down. They're still very angry and they want answers. So a call, and I mean, the Chief of Staff, General Kelly, did say he gave President Trump advice on how to do it, what to say. And I think that the President Trump just he tried to say what General Kelly told him to say, which is, a lot of us, we know what we're signing up for, but if we die, we die doing what we love, what we want to do with the people that we love.
It's not the same coming from President Trump as someone who has served and who has lost a son himself.
No, it's very, very true. And a call to a Gold Star family, whether or not they say it should be private, but it's always political. If it wasn't political, President probably wouldn't do it, and that includes all the presidents. But I don't think something that anyone from President Trump to President Obama to President George W. Bush, it shouldn't be made public like that, the way it was politicized. I know Donald Trump. I had dinner with him 2 weeks ago tonight at the White House. And he, maybe he says stuff the wrong way, which we all know he does.
How was that dinner?
It was awesome. We had a really good time. It was just fun. I got to see the Lincoln bedroom. It was really neat. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. But a conversation like that, it might be too soon. I mean, he didn't call to insult the family. He called just to give condolences. And if he said it the wrong way, that's too bad. And I've said before that if someone was said to the widow, there's nothing wrong with saying, "Hey, I'm sorry" to her. I didn't mean that. It's okay. You don't need to get into social media war. Call her back and apologize.
And say you're sorry. What do you think is the hesitance? Because I mean, it's hard to say, if not. It's impossible to say the right thing when you're talking to someone who's grieving.
You're not going to say the right thing.
I mean, I never lost anybody in war, but I lost my mom a couple years ago, and the funeral was full of people saying whack stuff.
Yeah, they don't know what to say. People don't know what to say. It doesn't make you feel better. It's almost leave me alone and I'll be better.
Yeah, that's exactly. Like, at least she wasn't killed in a car accident, or at least she wasn't. It's like, okay, fine, but that's they're just. The simple, you're here is just fine.
And that's something I think everybody can relate to, being at a funeral and saying the wrong thing. I think everyone does that. And I hope this is the case. I don't like the way it turned into something so ugly, because the poor Maisha Johnson, I believe, is still just in a daze, I'm sure. You can't.
Of course.
She knew her husband, David, since he was 6.
Yep.
And it's just tragic.
It's tragic.
I mean, I wish you could get a closure answer of why she wasn't able to see the body, but she should just be given time to heal. I feel horrible for her.
And we were talking about this a little bit in one of the breaks. Not being able to see the body might be the best thing in a situation like
something
this.
like that. Just because, the reports off the ground that were from people there said this guy died a warrior. Like, she has nothing but to be proud of him, because he was picking up guns, taking it to the enemy. The problem is if he got separated. Who knows what happened? And he went out fighting, and good on him.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's obviously to say the call didn't go over well, and I think that President Trump should apologize to her.
And what I would like to see is have it be private for a change.
Yes.
He calls her, and maybe no one gets to hear about it, because everyone's going to run with this. Either side of the aisle as far as the media. Well, we told you so. We told you. It's like, just let it go. And if he could clear it up personally, that would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just so sad to see how this has been politicized.
It is.
Especially when you talk about good old Wilson. She's already trying to compare it to Benghazi. Can we play that clip number 20, please?
I think this is going to be this administration's Benghazi. This is going to be Trump's Benghazi, Trump's Niger. And they need to concentrate on what happened, and what is happening.
We don't know anything yet.
We know nothing, and it's almost odd to see Congresswoman Wilson, who's obviously very, very far left, who was once kind of defend Benghazi wasn't our fault, but just by saying that she's admitting that Benghazi was bad.
So you think Benghazi's bad then?
Benghazi's bad, so it's bad.
Right.
Got it. And it is bad, but they're completely different. These are, look at Benghazi. That the whole crew there, to include the State Department and the agencies, were asking for more security. This is a bad place. We got sources on the ground. We need more security. And they were denied. That was bad. Then there were situations that, you get into international law when the gunfight started, and you had guys like Tonto Peranto on the ground fight. Just brave dudes in a 13-hour fight, which is insane. Trying to get support. They can't get support. Other people trying to go there told they can't. And that's all bad, but the Warriors did what Warriors do. But then the bad part is that there's a cover-up in Benghazi. They were on Susan Rice was on on Sunday morning shows, all of them blaming it on a video that had nothing to do with it. You know it's Al Qaeda, and that's what they're doing, and that's ridiculous. This is something different. They're trying to be straightforward. They're doing an investigation, and these are Green Berets on the ground dealing with counterinsurgency and anti-terror stuff, and they got in a gunfight and they fought it out. They're way different, and just because she wants to politicize a phone call to make it a cover-up, Congresswoman Wilson, she's trying to get headlines. That's too bad.
Yeah, and it's kind of the first time we've heard a Democrat admit that Benghazi is bad.
Almost speaking too quickly.
Exactly.
Oh, wait, we're not supposed to say that. Yeah. At this point, what does it matter type stuff.
Yeah, and just there's no answers yet. And like as you said, there's still a woman out there grieving, a family grieving.
Yeah, there's a couple families out there grieving.
And they're still in a daze, like you put it. They don't even know what hit them.
No.
Absolutely.
Life changes.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Again, I'm here with Rob O'Neill. If you want to call in, the number is 877-367-2526. Join in. We're talking about Gold Star families and what is the appropriate response. And I agree that a private response would be better. I think he should call and apologize. What do you think about John Kelly making statements about Wilson that were
that was another one that we're not sure exactly what happened, because he said they were at a ceremony for a building that they were dedicating.
Correct.
And they said that she stood up and just started taking credit for funding and all that stuff. And they showed a video of her speaking there where she did praise the FBI and she praised the fallen they were dedicating it to and all that stuff. And that's cool if that's all that happened, but they're saying what she said was later when the cameras were off. And I'm a big believer that if you mess up, just admit it and apologize. If he said something that made her look bad that wasn't true, then apologize.
Nobody does that in politics.
No, I know. It's weird, too, because I tell people all the time, you don't really learn from success. You learn from failure. When you fall down, get up and look yourself in the mirror and just own it. And I failed, and then if you wrong somebody, just tell them you're sorry. I mean, only if you apologize to someone who's never made a mistake in their life, they might not forgive you. But there's nothing wrong with deflating an argument, taking the higher ground, admitting fault, and maybe this is weird. I hope someone in Washington is listening. Maybe working together.
Working together.
Weird.
Yeah, there's not a lot of working together, not even within the parties.
No, even the Republicans today. I was watching that. I was on the treadmill, so at least I ran faster.
Yeah.
But it's frustrating to watch these people that they either care about personally get reelected, a lot of them do, or they just care about their party, not the country. Lockstep. The Democrats are actually really good at that. They are locked in. One doesn't vote that none of them are voting. Pretty much, it seems like. But now the Republicans are going after each other. We've got senators and Twitter wars with the president, and it's just.
And with hashtags like daycare this, daycare that, and you couldn't get elected dog catcher, back and forth.
Yeah, I know.
And meanwhile, my taxes are still the damn same.
They went in there to have a nice lunch to talk about tax reform, which I think everybody wants lower taxes. I haven't read the bill, but neither has Chuck Schumer, but at least he came out and just kept saying how tax cuts for the wealthy and the middle class this, and I don't think he's read it yet, but that's kind of their marching orders. But yeah, you go in there to get have a lunch, and like the Republican senators did with the president, and then you got Senator Flake from Arizona going on the floor.
Out.
Yeah, and just kind of went out there and bashed him. It's like, and again, can we do this in private?
Yeah, of course, because it makes the party look like a mess. At least in public.
Did you notice the only interviews they would do would be on a opposing networks of Fox News, because they're just gearing up for jobs over there. After they're going to get out of this, there'll be commentators, so those other networks can say, "Oh, we hired conservatives." No, you didn't.
No, yeah, absolutely. But I think that's really important what you said about private, and then doing it in private instead of just showing this public face.
It's so obvious that I like to get more veterans into politics, and we've got a couple going in there. We got a Congressman Taylor from Virginia Beach. I served with him, Navy SEAL. And then Commander Zinke is the Secretary of the Interior. But the point I'm getting at is not a lot of these politicians. They don't know how to build a team and solve problems. You get it. You get in a room together and you hash it out. Both sides.
The Democrats have the opposite problem, though. They are avoiding admitting they have a problem. Can we play that clip from Nancy Pelosi, please? Clip 32. Love this one.
I think that the biggest evidence for lack of experience in a job is the President of the United States. I think I'm a great legislator. Self-promotion's a terrible thing, but clearly somebody has to do it.
She's a great legislator. There's no problems. So how can you say in the same breath that, President Trump, what a disaster. This is unbelievable. Can't believe this happened. Yeah. And yet our party is great, which is why we were defeated by President Trump.
Defeated big time. But when she was the speaker, though, she was a good leader as far as her party was concerned. She had them. She did a good job keeping them all together. I disagree with everything she says.
Yeah.
But, she it's almost like you wish they would get together, because I know they all know each other, and behind closed doors, most of them get along with each other. But if they could explain they were doing bipartisan stuff and explain that to their constituents, you're probably going to get more votes doing that because people are tired of party politics. Look at the favorability. I don't have the numbers with me, but they're not
good of Congress. No, absolutely not. But the Democratic Party needs some fresh blood. It's Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, they really do. They really do. I mean, even when Bernie Sanders is the up and comer.
Yeah, he is the up and comer,
and people love him. But they definitely some fresh. I think everyone does though. I mean, this is where you really consider term limits. I mean, the president has term limits. Why don't senators? Why don't
absolutely.
And what's with the 6-year term?
Yeah, it's a very long term.
That's a long term, and they get elected. They tell you what you want to hear, and they'll tell you what you want to hear to get elected. Do whatever they want for a few years, and start telling you it again because the attention span is so short nowadays of the voters. It's like,
well, is it going to be short? I mean, look at what happened with Obamacare, right? Remember, repeal and replace, repeal and replace. You have to vote on repeal and replace. They can't even tweak it.
They didn't even have it. 7 years to get something going, and they've got good people, I think, working on it, but it's just not working. And the political game makes everything stop. And then you do have some people coming in to vote, and they're voting just straight out of I don't like President Trump. Republicans.
Yeah,
I don't like him, so I'm going to vote against it just so it fails.
And I think that it's not just that. I think that there also is a bit of an identity crisis in the GOP. I think that there are certain members of the GOP that are more liberal when it comes to not even just issues like immigration, but even issues like what's acceptable for a health care bill.
I think it's going to help. Neither side is going to win completely. It's going to help to have more Republicans more liberal on certain issues and Democrats more conservative on certain issues, because that's going to be the change. I mean, who knows, with these two senators leaving and admitting they're not coming back, this could be part of drain the swamp. But if they keep acting like this, the midterms are coming up and they're going to lose. I mean, this is the second time that I can remember in recent history where the Republicans had the executive branch, they have the Senate and the House, and they can't get anything done.
And what have they done?
That's when you start firing people. When I was the SEAL commands where I worked, if we had that much, if that many people in that many places and we couldn't get anything done, we're firing from the top down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but again, if there's no the Republicans now are mostly, a lot of them are liberal. They're the moderate Democrats. I think when I saw what came out with the health care bill, I mean, it's basically a bailout for the insurance companies. It's like, come on, what's this? But then you have, Bernie Sanders, his solution, okay, single payer, which is what I'm worried is going to happen if the Republicans drop the ball on this, is we're going to be with single payer.
I haven't read the whole bill, and that's by no means my expertise. But people, I've heard people talk that are doctors and have said that. I travel around the country and I talk to a lot of people, a lot of places, and they said this is a disaster. And if I wasn't this old, I'd get out of this line of work type stuff. So I mean, and again too, this is why you have subject matter experts. Get the really smart people that don't have the political advantages, they just really want to do the right thing, tell it to people, and then make it happen. Like, we had people. I'll go back to like SEAL teams. We have a sniper, have a breacher, ground force communicator, snipers. I might have said that twice, but not everybody needs to be an expert in everything. But you have your guys that know what they're doing, and you give them rope, let them eat, and they do the job right. And now the team succeeds, and that's what they can do. But everyone's so worried about, well, if I do this, I'm not going to get reelected. I won't get voted for this. If Republican says something too liberal, their base won't vote for him in a primary.
Right, absolutely.
It's I mean, I'm glad I don't need to come up with the solution, but I mean, it's obvious to see the problem or the problems.
We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back. Call on in 877-367-2526, Fox News Talk.
This is Fox News Talk, powered by the most trusted name in news, Fox News. More next.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-759-0158 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-759-0158. Again, that's 800-759-0158.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-359-7341. That's 1-800-359-7341. Again, 1-800-359-7341.
Fox News Talk presents
Political Pop.
In 1970, as the Vietnam War roared on, Motown's The Temptations recorded a lyrically strong political song over a driving drum and bass track. The lyrics read like a list of the major issues of 1970: Vietnam, segregation, white flight, drug abuse, and crooked politicians. After each list, the Tempfs refer to not knowing where the world's heading. It ends with Melvin Franklin's ominous bass vocal. And the band played on.
Music with a meaning
that made a difference.
From Fox News Talk.
If you're a business owner, whether you own a small shop or a huge corporation, when it comes to building a new facility, the process can seem overwhelming. If you're concerned with getting the building you need on a limited budget, call Anthem Steel for a pre-engineered steel building. Anthem has the high-quality solution for almost any size you need. Look around. You'll see more businesses, churches, schools are using steel buildings to save time and money. Right now, you can buy a 60 by 200-foot building for under $90,000 from Anthem Steel. Buy a 40 by 60 for under $20,000. Call toll-free 866-83-BUILD. That's right, a 60 by 200-foot building for under $90,000. A 40 by 60 for under $20,000. Anthem makes it easy to get the building you need at the right price, and all you need is a small deposit to get started. For a church or gymnasium, call 866-83-BUILD. For manufacturing or warehousing, that's 866-83-BUILD. If you need to build, call Anthem Steel today.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kat Timpf. This is Fox News Talk. I'm here for a little bit more with Rob O'Neill. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing well. This is fun.
I'm having a great time. We have to talk about a story that is really the most important news story of the day that hasn't, really been talked about.
Yes.
Kid Rock said F-word no, he's not running for Senate.
He did. He said no.
He said no.
He waited till today on Howard Stern to announce that, yes. But he wasn't going to run the whole time. He was having fun with it. But I do own the shirt, Kid Rock for Senate. I'm still going to wear that.
Because you guys are buddies, right?
Yeah, he's my buddy. I had dinner with him last night in New York, yeah. So
you did?
Yep. He flew up here to do his Stern, so he and I met up Hunt Fish Club, which is a great place, and had a couple
the
drinks.
Place, right? Isn't it?
I don't know.
What's it like to have dinner with Kid Rock?
Well, he's my buddy.
I know he's your buddy. He was at your wedding,
He was
right?
in my wedding, yeah.
In your wedding.
He had a couple cocktails and sang in my wedding with the band that was there. It was pretty awesome.
He wasn't planned to sing.
No.
He decided he was singing.
Yeah. Alcohol does that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But no, yeah, I'll see him. I'll probably go there this weekend. My wife and I spend a lot of time with them. His fiance and my wife are best friends, and so he's just the hardest part of hanging out with Kid Rock is learning to call him Bob.
Yeah, Bob Ritchie,
like
right?
Yeah, it is, yeah. But no, he's awesome. He's just totally down to earth, very funny, and he's the most generous guy I know, too. Like, if you go to dinner with him, try to get there early and give someone your credit card to say, I got this dinner, because you're not going to get. The one time I got away with it, too, they comped it because we were there.
Oh.
So it's like I still owe him a dinner as far as I'm concerned. He won't let me pay for it.
Oh, that's great. How did you get connected with Kid Rock?
I met him because he has a house right in Jupiter, Florida, right next to Steve Ducey, the Ducey family down there, and I know them. And they were walking past. They saw the American flag on his garage. It's huge, and someone mentioned he lived there, so they went and introduced themselves. And then they got home, and they mentioned me, and they said, "Yeah, O'Neill comes down here and sleeps on the couch." He's like, "Sleeps on the couch? I got bedrooms, man. Have him sleep yourself." I went to his house. and then we just hit it off, and then I went to his place in Nashville 4th of July. That was a couple of years ago, and then we see each other now and then. I go to shows all the time. He's just incredible live.
So he was in your wedding, like he was a groomsman.
Yeah, he was a groomsman. Mm-hmm.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
now I feel like I can really never get married. I'm gonna have who's my bridesmaid gonna be if yours is.
It was pretty awesome. We like I said last night, we'll see him again, and then he was on Stern, did a great job, and he's getting a lot of heat because of the rumor of running as a Republican. Then they start looking at the Confederate flag because he liked the South or the Southern something. And then they start calling him a racist, and it's gotten pretty bad too. They said there was a headline today in Philly. It said Trump-loving racist Kid Rock coming to Philadelphia. It's like,
oh,
come on,
he's Kid Rock.
Come on, his son's black.
Yeah. I did it.
They don't bring that part up.
they don't bring that part up would be a good title for a lot of things.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a good title for a book. They don't bring that up.
Yeah, they don't at all.
Remember, I'm onto something with that.
But I'm a Detroit girl, so I'm a little jealous.
Cool.
You know,
that won't be hard. I'll get him in here somehow. We'll figure something out.
Get a selfie. I just want a selfie.
Oh, that's easy.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that this weekend. That's simple.
Okay, cool. I'm available for that. I thought I had no plans, and now I know that I do.
Let me see what he's doing. I know he has a jet. Maybe we can get him to go somewhere.
Oh, my gosh. Your life is... This man's life is significantly more interesting than all of ours put together. Everyone listening. All right, thanks, everyone, for listening. Kat, Tim, thanks for listening to Fox News Talk. I'll be back tomorrow from 6 to 9, so tune in.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. I improved my credit score.
You're kidding, right?
No.
How are we supposed to be the bad boys of electro-synth pop if you're out there being responsible? The band is about to be discovered. This is our year.
Yeah, you've been saying that for a while now.
You think anyone in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was worried about their credit score?
I never really thought that.
Of course they weren't. Rock stars aren't supposed to think about that kind of stuff. We're supposed to think about how many guitars we've smashed, write aggressively sensitive power ballads, start questionable fashion trends, tragically break up and blame creative differences.
All right.